Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Bradley Real Estate Group. So today we're going to talk about foreclosures. There's such a mystery. Stay tuned so that you can find out more. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. So today, like I said, we're talking about foreclosures, and there's just some things that I have to express to you about them. So I have a lot of clients that come in sometimes and say like, hey, I was really interested in buying a foreclosure. They're usually a little more savvy. They want to save some money, or they have heard about the massive amount of equity that you have the potential to get with purchasing a foreclosure, and yet have been discouraged by either a family member or even another professional in the industry from pursuing that dream or that goal. Well, let me tell you, foreclosures are not that hard. Really, you can get a foreclosure if you decide that that is the path that you want to take. Now, you must know when you buy a foreclosure, a lot of times you do have to put some money into it, invest some money to fix it up, but they're not a mystery or impossible to deal with. If it's too much work, then you just simply walk away and don't buy them. But if it's something that will work for you and works for your finances, then you move forward. So the first thing that I want to say about buying a foreclosure is that they're super easy to find. There's not a mystery list. There is not a secret website, and you don't have to pay any special website to get the list of foreclosures. Something readily available to any real estate professional. A lot of the times they do come up on the MLS. If it's not on the MLS, the bank probably hasn't released it because they don't even have it yet. So don't fall for any gimmicks. You don't have to pay for any websites in order to find the exclusive foreclosure list. If you hear exclusive, run. Okay, run. Okay, so the first thing that you do is that you consult with your real estate professional, whoever that person is graced to be your agent and help you with buying a home. Then express to them that you are interested in foreclosures, that maybe you have some savings to be able to create, to fix the property up if you need to. And then as a professional, they will know that there are certain things, if you're buying cash or if you're financing, that you must keep in mind, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So the first thing is you absolutely must work with a professional, and they will go into the MLS and they will send you a list of foreclosures if they're even available for the bedrooms and bathrooms that you desire. So that's number one. The type of foreclosures. So a lot of people are like, hey, I want to buy a HUD home. Or, hey, I need a VA foreclosure. Or, hey, REO bank owned, that's what I want. And I want to explain to you and educate you a little bit about what the difference is. What is a HUD home versus a regular foreclosure, and what is a regular foreclosure? And simply the difference is when you buy a house, most homes, not all of them, but most of them fall into one of the three major loan types or categories. If you are a veteran and you have the honor of being able to get a VA loan with 0 down, one of the best loans out there, by the way, then you obviously have a VA loan. If for whatever reason that person's forecloses on the property, that is now a VA foreclosure. Simple. They're probably the simplest one. If you had an FHA loan where you came in and you had 3.5% down, then that means that and that person foreclosed on the property, then that is now a HUD home, HUD, HUD home. And that's where that name comes from. If you had a conventional loan, then at that point, that's where it's bank owned or REO, which means real estate owned. So most of the properties fall into one of the three, either HUD foreclosure, VA foreclosure, or REO, bank-owned property, which is still a foreclosure. So now you have others, which are like, home path, for example. There are others out there, but for the most part, most of them fall into one of the three categories. And your realtor will be able to guide you. So the offer itself, the documents, the paperwork to put in an offer for one of the three, they're all different, but the process itself is pretty much the same. So that's something that is very, very valuable. Don't be scared. It's just like if you were buying a regular house, you will have to go through certain things. It's the same with that process with buying a foreclosure. The process is the same. The paperwork varies a little bit. Maybe you have to have your earnest money up front instead of after the contract is signed. But for the most part, pretty easy process. The next thing that I want you to know is that cash is king for foreclosures. If you are buying a house and it's a foreclosed home, it is a lot easier if you are buying the property cash. Now, don't get discouraged. That does not mean that if you're getting the house financed or you need financing that you can't get a foreclosure. That is a myth that a lot of people, have unfortunately put on some people to discourage them from moving forward with buying a foreclosure. You could finance a foreclosed home. Now, the difference is that the bank that's lending you the money, or there might have some requirements. And for example, you have to meet the minimum property standards. Well, what is that? What does that mean? It pretty much means that if they're going to lend you the money, it can't have holes in the wall, for example. Or if there are holes in the wall, then it has to get fixed before they lend you the money. Or like, hey, if it has anything with paint chipping, that's another popular one. Or the hot water heater doesn't work, then it must be addressed. Or and in that case, a professional might be able to guide you, or maybe even the lender might be able to guide you into getting some type of financing so that you can still move forward with getting that property and just finance into the loan the repairs or some type of escrow. So absolutely, you will talk to your mortgage consultant about that, or your realtor will be able to help you by talking to the consultant, and then together you could come up with a plan so you can still move forward and get the property. Now, if the property is falling apart, then just know it. Then they probably not going to want to lend you the money to get the property. So cash is king in this case, but you don't have to only buy foreclosures with cash. You can get it financed. There are plenty of foreclosures out there that are not that bad, that just need paint and carpet. But then it's up to you having the good fortune to actually find one, or your realtor looking for that for you. It may or may not be in the market yet, but it is absolutely possible. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is that foreclosures, and if I haven't convinced you yet, I just want to talk a little bit about the fact that foreclosures are some of the best buys on the market, because you can get a foreclosed home in a neighborhood that maybe sells for $300,000, and the foreclosure might be listed at $250,000 because they already know up front that it needs some work. And, not all the times, but most of the time, you might still be able to negotiate a little bit more on that. If you go in and you do your home inspection, which we recommend that everybody gets a home inspection, whether it's new construction or not, you should get a home inspection. Then, you find out like, okay, is this doable? You always have a due diligence period. Remember, in one of the last videos, we talked about due diligence. So go watch that if you haven't seen it. But you should have a due diligence period where you can get your home inspection and find out, do the amount of money that I have, the reserve, the savings that I have, enough so that I can cover the repairs that this house needs. And if that is the case, then I think that you should absolutely move forward with getting a foreclosure and have anywhere between $10,000, $20,000, and even $30,000 in equity in your property if you're able to do that and find good, reliable work to help you with fixing up the property. So absolutely, it is my opinion that foreclosures are some of the best buys out there. And if you do intelligent analysis of the property and figure out like, hey, is the savings that I have enough to cover for the repairs, then I think that you should move forward with getting that foreclosure, and it will be a wise investment in your part. We covered the three types of foreclosures. We covered that it's not a mystery. They're out there, and you don't have to pay for a list, and we also covered that they're absolutely one of the best buys of the market. So that is the video for today. Some tidbits about foreclosures and buying and finding foreclosures. If you're interested in videos like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. We will have more videos like this coming and keep you educated so that you can be the savvy buyer out there buying foreclosures. Thanks for tuning in.